Hello, Dawgpound South campers. This is the Cleveland Browns Dawgpound South podcast, part of the Fanatical Elves Network, part of the Fans First Sports Network. I'm your host, Steve Gill. Well, it's another week in the books, that long week in the books as the NFL draft slowly gets closer and closer. This Thursday will be 2 weeks till the draft. It's been interesting to listen and to look at Cleveland social media and listen to Cleveland Sports Talk Radio. This week, everyone convinced themselves that the pick of the Cleveland Browns at number 2 will be, Travis Hunter. He's the new flavor of the week. We have tumbled constantly in different directions, wherein I maintain that there are 2 players they are high on. Not that they love, not that they like, they're high on them. Cam Ward, Abdul Carter. Okay, I've been consistent on this. If the Titans don't take Cam Ward, Browns will take him in a heartbeat. But I have a feeling, and I'm pretty sure that the Titans are going to take Cam Ward. They can't get anybody to trade up with them because they're asking for multiple first-round picks. And that would be silly. Again, there's never been a trade from number 2 to number 1 in the history of the NFL draft. So I can't believe anyone would start on this. Okay. So that option is out of the way. So what do we have? I just put out an article today with the 5 choices the Browns have. It's on Fans First Sports Network. I encourage you to go read it, but we all know who the choices are. You know, I'm not spoiling anything for you. It's Cam Ward, Abdul Carter, Shedeur Sanders, and Travis Hunter, and number 5, trade down. Now, like I said, Tennessee's going to take Cam Ward. Titans, they look like they are ready to go that way. That may change in 2 weeks. You never know. But and if next up to the Browns, just go ahead and take Abdul Carter. Now, I know a lot of people are going, well, they don't have any offense. You're right, they don't have any offense. But if you watch the Super Bowl, you could see what a team that applies a lot of pressure does to the best quarterback in the NFL, Patrick Mahomes. He has lost 2 Super Bowls because the defense put it pressure, not blitzed, pressure. Some quarterbacks play better when they're blitzed. And as Bernie Kosar always said, if I'm getting blitzed, that means somebody's open. So you just got to apply pressure. Now, a lot of people, I've seen with the bad lines drawn on social media about who the Browns should take, I've seen selective statistics. And by the way, statistics are all right, but somebody once said that 99% of statistics only tell 49% of the story. And I am a full believer in that. You can twist statistics any way you want. This one person posted that the Browns had the highest pressure rate of any other team. Awesome. High pressure rate. Great. Then you look at the individuals. Now, 35 pressures is a good benchmark. That's good. If you have a player doing 35 or more pressures, that's good. So you look at the Browns, and number 1 guy in pressures, Myles Garrett with about 83 pressures. Next one on the list, Dalvin Tomlinson with 36. Next one on the list. And numbers 3 and 4 are Zadarius Smith and JOK. Well, if we look at that list, numbers 2, 3, and possibly 4 aren't going to be playing this year. You go over and look at the Eagles, who just showed everybody in the Super Bowl what good pressure does. They have 6 guys with 35 or more pressures. 6. And again, what did Patrick Mahomes do? I believe he got sacked 7 times, hit 11 times, and threw 2 interceptions. One was a pick 6. Against Tampa, where they lost, he was sacked 6 times, hit 12 times, and also threw 2 interceptions. Now, I know, offense is very important, and we'll talk about that after this break. Okay, I just got to remind you, Hemisphere Coffee, great coffee. They shake the hands of the farmers, which is very important. As I've told you in the past, my wife and I used to own a coffee shop, and we found one of the best roasters in Nashville, and he knows all his farmers and importers. He's met them, and that's why he had such great coffee. Okay, so try Hemisphere Coffee. All right, offense. Yes, I've heard all the arguments. You're right. You've got 10 draft picks, and you spend one on a defensive end, and all of a sudden you're ignoring the offense? That makes no sense. This, for 2 key offensive positions, this draft is fantastic for running back and tight end. I hear from fellow Browns that, well, they got to run the ball. Well, duh. Well, guess what? This is a great running back draft. They can draft 2 running backs. I still say to this day, they're going to draft 2 running backs. You draft your bell cow. I mean, Caleb Johnson out of Iowa would be perfect. He is a zone offense runner, and he would be perfect in this new offense. Wide zone runner. And then you pick somebody up in the 6th round. You can get Caleb Johnson in 3rd, or either one of the Ohio State guys. I'm a little worried about Trayvon Henderson, though. He had a lot of injuries in college, but still, he catch the ball, run the ball, block. That is, and both him and Judkins can do that. So I am happy with any running back they take. Wait till the 3rd round, you get you a nice running back. Then in the 6th round, you pick up somebody that can compete with Jerome Ford. You re-sign Nick Chubb to essentially a 1-year deal for about 2.5 with incentives. It might have a couple dummy years in it, like year 2 and 3, might be void years. That's fine. He's not going to be your bell cow. He is not going to be like he used to be. Those days are gone. So you have to draft his replacement. And then you keep him as your number 2 back. And then you've got 2 choices at your number 3. All right. You get your tight end. Now, I know that a lot of people think they should sign a veteran tight end. Fine. Re-sign Atkins. He hasn't signed with anybody. I'm happy with him. And then you draft a tight end. Harold Fannin would be fantastic. But there are a lot of good tight ends. One guy I'm kind of looking at is a guy named Jalen Conyers from Texas Tech. I mean, you can get a tight end. So, boom, your offense. Now, what do you do at quarterback? Well, if you take Abdul Carter at 2, Jalen Milroe will be there at 33. There are certain quarterbacks that should not be drafted in the 1st round. You look at, and my basic rule is, if your last game against my alma mater, Vanderbilt, and you lose, you should not be a 1st round quarterback. Only one guy was drafted in the 1st round who lost to Vanderbilt the last time they played him, and that was Anthony Richardson with the Colts. They're bringing in competition. They are admitting that was a failed draft pick. Will Levin also lost to Vanderbilt. His last game playing him. He went in the 2nd round. Let's just say the Titans are not happy. If you ever saw a post-game news conference with with Brian Callahan, there were numerous times he threw Will Levin out. He named him. He didn't say, well, some players need to show more concentration. No, he said Will Levin's name and threw him under the bus. So, yes, they're going to take Cam Ward. And then you got Milroe. His last game against Vanderbilt, he lost here in Nashville. They were ranked number 1. So Jalen Milroe should not be a 1st round pick. Jackson Dart is borderline first round. I don't see it. Yes, if he sits for a year, he could possibly become a good quarterback, but that would be a reach. And as for Shedeur Sanders, I'm sorry. It's just I can't put my foot on. He takes too many sacks, and yes, he had a terrible offensive line, but a lot of those sacks were his fault. You can't run around a lot. Your offensive line doesn't know where you are, and even when bad offensive line doesn't matter if you're running around. He doesn't. If a team that he's going to play changes one thing about their defense, it totally screws them up. BYU changed one thing he'd never seen before, and it just totally blew him up. When he doesn't recognize things or his first option isn't open, he eats the ball. And we can talk arm strength. I just read on Twitter that somebody said, well, Joe Burrow is supposed to have a weak arm too. That's fine. But I noticed that at the showcase that when he really tried to put some zip on the ball came out of his hand wobbly. That isn't going to work. That isn't going to work in the AFC North. Last time I checked, those winds come off of Lake Erie, and they're pretty stout. If you want to wait till the new stadium's open before you play the guy. And all the other guys have problems. Travis Hunter, he missed 14 games in college. He's 6 foot, 6'1", 185 pounds. One linebacker closing in at him at light speed will just crumple the kid. And he's not going to play both ways. I hate to tell you this. He's not in the NFL. Is he the best wide receiver in this draft? No. Is he the best DB in this draft? No. So not going to happen. Abdul Carter, yes, the injuries are concerning, but he never missed a game at Penn State. Both injuries did not require surgery. They're both healing on their own. And right now, the front office of the Cleveland Browns aren't too concerned. That's what I've been told. They're going to wait till the pre-draft physicals that all these players have to go through. They have to go back to Indy and do another physical before the draft. So if he tests, shoulder's fine, and it's not a fracture in his foot. Would you people quit saying it's a fracture? It's a strain, and it's healing on its own. Okay? I think some of you have a strained brain. Okay, so, and then there's Cam Ward. Cam Ward's big cannon arm. The 2 years at Washington State before he went to Miami, he wasn't much. They put like a third-day draft grade on him. One guy said he could possibly go in the fourth round. And then he goes down to Miami. Boom, breakout year. 17 fumbles. That still bothers the hell out of me. Why did he fumble the ball so much at Miami? Was his hand side? Was he just not taking care of the ball? Was he not paying attention? That's concerning. And his footwork is terrible. He throws off his back foot. You look at the pro days of Jackson Dart and Jalen Milroe and Shedeur Sanders. Jackson Dart, they had him taking the ball under center the vast majority of the time, because that was the big thing. He's always in the shotgun. Lane Kiffin's offense, always in the shotgun. So they made sure that teams could see him taking a snap under center. Milroe, his big knock, his footwork stinks, and it does. It's bad, but he's gotten better. From the Senior Bowl to his pro day, he has worked on his footwork, and his footwork has gotten way better. And that's what teams want to see. They want to see improvement. Now, Sanders' pro day was just like he played at Colorado. There were no attempts to show different things that he hadn't done in college, improvements on anything. It was just, ta-da, here he is. You get what you pay for. So out of all these players, I'd take Abdul Carter. Now, if they trade down, and I've looked at this, I would only go down one spot. If the Giants really, really want Sanders, let him come up and take him. And then you still get Abdul Carter. I don't want to go further down. This isn't a very top-heavy draft. So And I don't care. I don't care if they pass on a quarterback. I really don't. Now, who's going to be their quarterback? Well, the Kirk Cousins thing will not go away. Everybody in Cleveland missed something last week where it was reported that Kirk Cousins went to the Falcons and said, I don't want to be dangled as trade bait. Just cut me. You think that would be big news in Cleveland, especially after he's seen it at Chipotle's. That got more traction than this nice little story about Kirk Cousins telling the Falcons, hey, don't dangle me as trade bait. If you are, cut me. All right, take it for what it is. I still don't think the Browns are going to trade for him because of their contract. There's too many moving parts. I mean, if you do a trade, there are three options, and these were pointed out by Jack Duffin. You give Atlanta the 7th round pick, $254, and they have to eat $15 million of his contract. Option 2, Atlanta gets Greg Newsome. Cleveland gets a future 5th, and the contract stays the same. Immediately before they did that, they would have to redo Denzel Ward's contract and Posic's contract before they made the trade, before the trade became official, because your salary cap has to be at a certain amount. So that's how they do it. And then the third option, Atlanta gets a 4 and eats $20 million, and Cleveland gets Atlanta's pick 118. But I still don't think they're going to do a trade. It sounds like to me that this thing is going to be done over draft weekend if it happens. And Atlanta is going to have to cut him. Or it could wait till after June 2nd. I doubt it will, though. I think the Browns want a resolution and a certainty on who their quarterback's going to be before they go into workouts. All right. Well, that's been it. That's it for today. I'm glad you listen, watch, follow, subscribe. We're Browns fans just like you. We care about this team. We love this team. We root for this team. I do. But if I see something I don't like, I'm going to tell you I don't like it. All right. So right now, everything's going smooth. I do expect free agency to click up a little bit before draft because some of these guys who are waiting for the big contract will see going into the draft, see teams start positioning themselves for players. Browns still need 2 safeties. That might happen during the draft. I don't know, or shortly after. But they definitely need 2 safeties. They need a tight end. They need to get resolution on the Nick Chubb situation. And they're pretty much done at linebacker. A wide receiver would be nice, a veteran. And we'll see. We got plenty of time. I'm not going to worry about it. So this has been the Cleveland Browns Dawgpound South podcast, part of the Fanatical Elves Network, part of the Fans First Sports Network. Everyone have a great day and go Browns.